Right, so this is a method I figured out for AI translating and editing books, right? Currently, I'm interested in translating I think it's called the Canton Zhongyi. Now, first thing is, this is what I'm using is Ada, which is essentially a way to get a AI API in your console and to get it to code for you. Except you don't have to use it for coding, you can use it for translation or really anything you want. It's really nice. So you just have to, do Python, probably Python 3 instead of Python. That works for me. And then Ada, and then CD into your thing, and then you have to. You have to go into your folder once you've installed it. So CD into the folder, or just right click and open terminal, and then either depending on if you have the DeepSeek API, a Claude API, or a OpenAI API key, you just have to run this. Except your API is, I believe it's here. Let me just take a look at mine to make sure. Yeah, okay, so it's just this and then your API key. And if you run that in your bash terminal, it will open it up. All right, so if you want an API key, and what even is an API key, you either look up, if you have to decide if you want a DeepSeek, an OpenAI, or a Claude API. And personally, I use DeepSeek. It's very cheap compared to all the other ones, and it seems to work pretty well. This website here, platform.deepseek.com. So it's kind of like you make an account, and then you put X amount of money. I've put $10 there. $10 is perfectly fine. It's in American dollars. You could honestly just put like $5 or $3 or something, because it's it's very cheap. Unless you're using it lots, you're using like literal fractions of cents. And your API key is like a way to contact DeepSeek. It's a bit like a weather API is a way to contact a weather server through code. So then, yeah, you use that with that Ada command, right? Once you have that. So I have it in an SH script that I just use, and I just run whenever I need to. But anyway, this is for, actually I should probably show you. Okay, so first thing, we have our book or the text that we want to translate, right? So I've got it here in a text file. Number 2, we will run Ada in the terminal. Okay, so here we are. I'm in my bash terminal, which is it's standard for Linux, right? And we're in the correct directory. And I've ran my script, which again was just that on the Ada website with the API key, and saying, do I want to make a Git repo? No, I don't want to make a Git repo. So just N. If you want to do version control, you can, for code and whatever. So here we can say, this is this. You can type whatever you want to communicate with the AI. And I'm going to say, just let's translate the first chapter. So I'm going to say, please translate this into English. Do quotes, and I'll do paste, and I'll paste it in, enter. And here we are. It's it's translating, and of course it can only do a certain amount. So if I copy paste the whole thing, I'd have to do it in two sessions. And as you can see, that cost me not a lot, right? Not a lot. And the translation's not too bad. Like, this is okay, right? And what I'll do is I copy it into a text document, right? Just to have a copy of it here, as we can see here. But the problem is, if I copy this into LibreOffice for like professional, book stuff. So here I am in LibreOffice, which is another, it's free software. It works pretty well. This doesn't look very good. And of course, I have to add titles and headings and all this kind of stuff, which I'll do later on. But this block of text does not look very nice. And it's got words like Chen and Kun, and it's got Z and Chen, and these are times of the day. Technically, this is the zodiac. The Z is rat, Chen is dragon, S snake, etc. Right? I don't like that. I could sit here and, probably I will go like, yeah, okay, let's just do that for every sentence. Let's just break up all the sentences, and then eventually it's like, okay, this kind of fits together as a paragraph, maybe. That's kind of like a paragraph, and I can do all this manual editing, and you will have to do that, let's be honest. Or we can go back to our terminal like so, and I can go, please format this in a easily readable format, and also add descriptive brackets for the Chinese untranslated words like the text here, or June here. So you want to describe pretty much what you want. And another thing is to actually tell it the style you want. Do you want it to be literal? Do you want it to be poetic? Do you want it to be, I'd like to keep some of the original, the way that it was written, but I want this to be understandable, right? So I'm just going to go enter. It's now. See, look at that. That's nice. Chan heaven, Kun earth. I mean, geez, that's phenomenal. I don't really like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we'll just keep it. I can edit that out later on, right? So we'll copy that again back to our text document. Okay, so here we are back in our text document, and we can see this looks much better. I could then even format this and have it like, put these in the middle, for example, and have them as like, I could put them in bold, like so, and it just looks much nicer. Now this is too dot pointy, and it's not really, I mean, it's kind of nice, but it's all, I'd rather it just more as like a regular book. So I would personally, so you're still going to have to do certain amounts of editing, but this is much better than what we had before. And Chan, heaven, and Kun, earth, are the gateways to the changes, the father and mother of all hexagrams. Still, it's a little bit gateway to the changes. What does that even mean? So we could be like, copy this back to terminal. So here we are. What does this mean? And you can do this, you don't have to do it in Ada as well, but if you want to translate bulk text, oh geez. Do you like the way that it has 1, 2, and then dot points? If not, then you just tell it you don't like that. Do you kind of get the way that it's like, imagine you were generating an AI picture, you have to think about the style it's in. Why is it that everyone can instantly tell an AI picture is AI, except for the people who really work at this kind of stuff and they learn how to AI generate stuff, and then it doesn't look like AI because they make it into a different style. Writing has formats and styles, and that's part of editing this. You have to do that, and like I'm always thinking, what is the simplest way? What's something that's kind of condensed, but also like, what is the easiest way for people to read this? That's my job as an editor for this kind of book. That's what I'm thinking about, right? This is a little bit too long-winded, to be honest. Summarize sentence for a annotation. And there you go. Chen and Kun are the foundational pair from which all other hexagrams and the Yijing are derived, serving as the essential conceptual entry point to understanding the system's representation of universal changes. And then we could also say something like, it's symbolic representation of nature, Chan and Kun, heaven and earth, right? So, it's up to you what you want to do. But I hope you get the point. Like, this is pretty convenient, and I like it because I can just run it in my terminal. again, the reason why you use this instead of a web window, because well, I'm paying for this, right? Like I'm paying, like that's X amount of nearly a cent. It's a tenth of a cent, right? Why am I paying for that? It's because you can translate massive amounts of text, so you can just dump big chapters into this, and it'll just spit it out, and then you can just get it to mass edit chapters of this to the point where you can edit one of these books in like a week, or if it's really small, you could probably get it in a day or two, right? So yeah, anyway, hopefully you get what I'm trying to explain here.